Check out the key statistical analyses for today's games. For the goals market involving Torino, our tip is over 1.5 goals. And why this bet? Simple. Torino's history consistently shows matches with more than 1.5 goals in the final score. Looking at their recent form, in a thrilling match against Parma, the final score was 4-1, totaling 5 goals, with 4 scored by Torino and 1 by Parma. In a subsequent clash against Napoli, Torino fell 2-1. But the match still saw a total of 3 goals, with 2 for Napoli and 1 for Torino. When Torino hosted Lazio, they secured a 2-0 victory, bringing the total to 2 goals, both scored by Torino. Away to Genoa, Torino suffered a 3-0 defeat, with all 3 goals coming from Genoa. And in another home game, against Bologna, the final score was 1-2 in favor of the visitors, making it a total of 3 goals, 1 for Torino and 2 for Bologna. For the total shots on target market involving AC Milan, our tip is over 3.5. And why this bet? Simple. AC Milan's recent matches have consistently delivered a high number of shots on target from both sides, regularly exceeding the 3.5 mark. In a recent clash, Lazio faced AC Milan, with a final score of 1-0. That game saw a total of 5 shots on target, with 2 for Lazio and 3 for AC Milan, comfortably clearing our line. Against Inter, AC Milan secured a 1-0 victory. There were a total of 4 shots on target in that match, with 2 for AC Milan and 2 for their rivals. Traveling to Cremonese, AC Milan won 2-0, a match that generated an impressive 9 shots on target, 3 for Cremonese and 6 for AC Milan. When AC Milan hosted Parma, the score was 0-1. This game also saw 9 shots on target, 6 from AC Milan and 3 from Parma. Finally, in a match where AC Milan played Como, which ended in a 1-1 draw, we observed 8 shots on target, 4 for AC Milan and 4 for Como. For the total shots on target market involving Torino, our tip is over 6.5. And why this bet? Simple. Torino's matches frequently exceed 6.5 total shots on target, indicating teams that are very focused on scoring goals. In a recent match where Torino faced Parma, the final score was 4-1. That game saw a remarkable total of 9 shots on target, with 6 coming from Torino and 3 from Parma, easily surpassing our line. Looking back, in the clash against Napoli, the score finished 2-1. This match was even more action-packed, registering a massive 13 shots on target, 9 for Napoli and 4 for Torino. Against Lazio, Torino secured a 2-0 victory. The game produced 8 shots on target in total, 5 for Torino and 3 for Lazio. When facing Genoa, despite a 3-0 defeat, there were still 8 shots on target, 5 from Genoa and 3 from Torino. And in a match against Bologna, which ended 1-2, we again saw 9 shots on target, with 2 for Torino and 7 for Bologna. For the expected goals match market involving AC Milan, our tip is over 1.5. And why this bet? Simple. AC Milan has consistently shown a tendency for matches with a total expected goals greater than 1.5, indicating a strong volume of goal-scoring opportunities created by both sides. In a recent clash, Lazio faced AC Milan, with a final score of 1-0. The total expected goals for that game reached 1.81, with 0.42 for Lazio and 1.39 for AC Milan, comfortably hitting the over 1.5 expected goals. AC Milan then hosted Inter, where the score finished 1-0. The expected goals for the match totaled 1.87, with 0.85 for AC Milan and 1.02 for Inter, once again proving the over 1.5 expected goals bet. In a away fixture against Cremonese, AC Milan won by 2-0. This match saw a massive 4.63 in total expected goals, with Cremonese contributing 0.99 and AC Milan generating an impressive 3.64, a clear win for the over 1.5 expected goals market. In a game where AC Milan hosted Parma, the visitors won by 1-0. Despite the low score, the total expected goals reached 1.99, with AC Milan having 1.54 and Parma contributing 0.45, confirming the over 1.5 expected goals. Finally, in a match against Como, AC Milan drew 1-1. The expected goals for this encounter was 2.11, with AC Milan achieving 0.77 and Como 1.34, another successful pick for the over 1.5 expected goals market. For the expected goals market involving Torino, our tip is over 1.5. And why this bet? Simple. Torino's matches consistently demonstrate a high expectation of goals, reflecting the creation of numerous scoring opportunities. Let's look at some recent results. In a clash against Parma, the final score was 4-1. The expected goals for that game totaled 2.77, with 2.20 generated by Torino and 0.57 by Parma. Against Naples, the final score was 2-1. The expected goals for that encounter reached 1.70, with 1.04 for Naples and 0.66 for Torino. In their home fixture against Lazio, Torino secured a 2-0 victory. The expected goals for this game were 1.75, with 0.70 for Torino and 1.05 for Lazio. Traveling to face Genoa, the score ended 3-0. The expected goals for the match were 2.47, with 1.87 for Genoa and 0.60 for Torino. And finally, in a home fixture against Bologna, which ended 1-2, the expected goals reached 1.74, with 0.42 for Torino and 1.32 for Bologna. These numbers clearly indicate a trend of high expected goals in Torino's games. For the corner kicks first half market involving Torino, our tip is over 2.5. And why this bet? Simple. Torino usually starts games with a good number of corner kicks, with the 2.5 mark being exceeded most of the time. In a recent match where Torino hosted Parma, which finished 4-1, the first half saw a total of 4 corner kicks, with 1 for Torino and 3 for Parma, comfortably winning the over 2.5 corners bet. When Torino traveled to face Naples, in a game that ended 2-1, the first half generated an impressive 6 corner kicks, 5 for Naples and 1 for Torino, again clearing the over 2.5 line. Another home fixture, this time against Lazio, saw the final score at 2-0. The first half in that contest produced 6 corners, 3 for the home side and 3 for the visitors, yet another successful outcome for the over 2.5 market. However, in an away game against Genoa, which finished 3-0, the first half registered only 2 corners, with 0 for Genoa and 2 for Torino, meaning the over 2.5 mark was not reached on that occasion. But the team quickly bounced back in a home game against Bologna, concluding 1-2. The first half delivered 4 corner kicks, 3 for Torino and 1 for Bologna, securing the over 2.5 corners bet once more. For the total shots game market involving AC Milan, our tip is over 15.5. And why this bet? Simple. AC Milan's matches are usually full of shots on goal, with the total number of shots from both teams frequently exceeding 15.5. This trend has been consistent across multiple recent encounters. In a recent clash against Lazio, which finished 1-0, the game saw an impressive 24 total shots, with 7 for Lazio and 17 for AC Milan, comfortably clearing the line. Against Inter, another 1-0 result. A total of 20 shots were recorded, 9 from AC Milan and 11 from their opponents. When facing Cremonese, despite AC Milan winning 0-2, there was a staggering 35 total shots, with 15 coming from Cremonese and 20 from AC Milan. Even in a 1-1 draw against Como, the match still produced 16 total shots, with 6 from Como and 10 from AC Milan. These results consistently show a high volume of shots, making the over 15.5 line a strong prediction. For the total shots game market involving Torino, our tip is over 15.5 total shots. And why this bet? Simple. Torino consistently participates in high-action games with many shots on goal, regularly exceeding the 15.5 mark in their recent matches. In a recent clash, Torino hosted Parma, with a final score of 4-1. The match saw a total of 21 shots, 15 coming from the home side and 6 from the visitors. When facing Naples, despite a 2-1 defeat, the game still produced 21 total shots, 14 for Naples and 7 for Torino. Against Lazio, in a match where Torino secured a 2-0 victory, there were a massive 25 total shots, 13 from Torino and 12 from Lazio. Even in a 3-0 loss away to Genoa, the game was lively with 23 total shots, 16 from Genoa and 7 from Torino. And in a 1-2 contest against Bologna, we saw 22 total shots, 7 from Torino and 15 from Bologna.